Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Yevamot, page 45, which discusses the situation of a non-Jewish man having relations with a Jewish woman. What is the status of their children? Now, first of all, we already know that if you have a case of a Jewish man and having relations with a non-Jewish woman, that we say, according to Jewish law, that that child is not Jewish, even though the father is Jewish. On the other hand, if the father is not Jewish, but the mother is, then we say that the child is Jewish, because we follow after the woman, the mother. We also know that intermarriage is at a very, very high number. But the reality is, according to Judaism, intermarriage actually doesn't exist. It's actually at 0%. And the reason is because technically, if you have a Jewish person trying to marry a non-Jewish person, even though it will work when it comes to civil law, according to Jewish law, that's not considered to be a legal marriage. And therefore, there really is no such thing as intermarriage at all, according to Jewish law. But again, the question is, what is the status of this child? So we end up saying that the law is that this child is not a mamzer. In the event, again, you have a non-Jewish man who has a child with a Jewish woman that is a Jewish child, the child is not a mamzer, which means she is able to marry a Jewish person, but even though this child on some level is kosher and not a mamzer, they're considered to be what's called a pogum, which invalidates this person to be able to marry a Kohen. Now on this we could understand, therefore, a story which took place on this page, where a man who was the product of a Jewish woman and a non-Jewish father went up to a great rabbi by the name of Rav and said, am I kosher or am I a mamzer? And on this, Rav, as we just said, we hold this child is kosher, which means you can marry a Jew. So then he turned to Rav and said, if that's the case, then let me marry your daughter. And on this, Rav said, absolutely not. And even though the Talmud said what's kind of hard to understand, especially that you're saying that it's acceptable, so then why would you push this person away? Now, the fact that this person is kosher technically means this person could marry Rav's daughter. But that doesn't mean that this person, as we said, is completely perfect. Because, as we said, they are pogum. This is not an ideal situation. And therefore, we certainly can understand Rav's level of being uncomfortable with him marrying his daughter, such a great man with such prominence.